We are back! Seejeanty, another awesome episode, Sights and Sounds, where the goal, of course, is to show the best and brightest of Haiti. This episode is a particularly big treat for me, right? Because I've been to different restaurants, really good restaurants all across PV and PAP, but this is the first time I'm getting a chance to hang out and show off a friend's work, and this friend is particularly fantastic because she like me, like you guys, was a Haitian American diaspora, right? Living her best life out in the States, had no big inclination to come back, minus what's driving all of us, which is a desire to see this country change. And she came back, and she's doing some really great stuff. And this episode is about highlighting her and highlighting her fantastic products. Without much further ado, Regine Theodat, fantastic. Round of applause. I'm sure you're doing it over there. Regine Theodat and her husband Junior.
And my partner, my business partner as well.
Exactly, and business partner. And so we're gonna talk. We got a lot of stuff going on. We're gonna talk about your products. We're gonna take a little walk through in your factory here, where you're producing these very high quality products, and also we're gonna have a chance to go to the farm, and also we're gonna go to the restaurant and taste a little bit and show a little bit off that. She has a lot of stuff going on, as you can tell. The way I'm just describing stuff. But before we start all that, I want the folks to get to know you a little bit, get to know what inspired, what got Haitian American. She was a lawyer over there, by the way, so very good spot. Didn't necessarily have to come. I want folks to hear your perspective of why you came, and a little bit about how it was that you were able to transition. Okay. The floor is yours.
Hi everyone. Thank you for tuning in and getting to know a little bit more about how we do business in Haiti, and hopefully some of you will cross over and join us. So my name is Regine Theodat, as Chris was explaining. My background is in law. I spent my whole life wanting to be a lawyer. I became a lawyer and I wanted to do corporate law. I was doing corporate law and the earthquake happened. And honestly, I've always loved Haiti. Like, always loved Haiti. I was that Haitian person at every cultural day with my kabila on, and I was doing the explanations. Like, I always loved Haiti, but I never wanted to live here. And I never really thought I would move here at the prime beginning of my career. So I just came here for 3 months, and that's actually how I first met Junior. We worked together in an organization that worked in Cité Soleil, and I was doing human rights work, which is very different from corporate work in the sense that, they're two different branches, but the end goal was still the same. Like, when I did corporate work, I did white-collar criminal crime, and I thought that would be interesting to kind of sort of do the same thing in Haiti, and so I started off doing just regular human rights work. And during all of my human rights sessions, everyone would ask me the exact same thing. I would do this great session on your rights to water, to access to education, and to voting, and at the end they would all ask me how to get a visa to get out of the country. And they weren't asking me that as a lawyer, they were asking me that as an American. They thought I had like some magical connection to the US Embassy and I could get them out of here. And I realized, not that I was wasting my time, but I could do something better, which is create jobs, rather than trying to tell people they have rights when they don't have the economic power to access those rights. So that's how I ended up in business. And then, that's why I ended up going into economic development. And then in business, we ended up doing that because Junior, who was my business partner, or at the time was just my business partner, we weren't anything much more than that. He and another partner, another friend, were opening up a restaurant. And me being the opinionated Scorpio lawyer that I went in with a lot of ideas and started like changing things. It wasn't my business. I was just like doing things like for my business. I would do that, I would do this, I would do that, I would do this. And before I knew it, a year later, I was like, okay, after all this time and energy, I should be an investor. And so that's how we started the restaurant. And then from the restaurant, we had the restaurant about a year and a half. And we had this client named Caitlin, who's a friend of Junior and Mimi's, is our other partner who started the restaurant with us. She asked us to bottle the products. And I fought against it for a year because I'm not naturally an entrepreneur and I like to have order and structure. And it just seemed crazy to me to have a restaurant that was struggling to then add on another business line that I had no business doing at that point because I didn't know anything about producing products or bottling or any of those things. But I had an idea about restoration because I worked in restaurants my entire college and law school career. That's how I paid for books. And so I knew how to manage a restaurant in some way, but I knew nothing about this part of the business. And then eventually we did bottle of one bottle. We sold 8,200 units. And we realized that we should be focusing on this more. And this has helped the restaurant grow. And as those two parts have been growing, them together made us need to have a farm. Because we were getting more into agriculture, we needed to make sure we had our long-term crops when we started exporting. So that's a very long explanation, but I hope it's comprehensive.
No, very comprehensive, and I think folks can kind of see how, you know, it was just one thing that led to another, led to another, led to another. But the big thing, though, is hearing about how you were here. You were here in Haiti, and one of the things I tell folks, you know, who are interested in coming and starting to do business is, step one, start coming here. Start to come, right? Start to come, start to expose yourself, start to meet, network, be physically here, and then allow, you know, the entrepreneurial idea, spirit, God to kind of direct you into the direction that makes the most sense for you, for your personality, and then ultimately for your dollars. So one of the big things that I, you know, found admirable about your business is how, again, it was just grassroots. It was just like, you know, very much driven by customer demand, and just you know, bring it to market as the customers had those needs. Yeah. So talk about a little bit about some of the difficulties, right? What were the you know, and of course the government and all that's going to be, we know, is going to be very, very tricky. But I don't know, just lay out maybe your top three issues specific to Haiti now, specific to Haiti that maybe weren't, if you were in the States, it wouldn't necessarily be a cause. And then let's talk about a little bit how you how'd you overcome it, just so my folks there can have an idea of, again, what are some of the difficulties, and then ultimately what are some of the things we can do to get across that hump.
So I guess the three difficulties for me are human resources, access, and I just mean access all over the place, like logistics, getting our products to and from where they need to go. And then thirdly, I would say we've had a lot of legal issues. And I think I go to that because I'm a lawyer. But for me, I think a lot of things would be solved if it was just it just legally was easier to operate a business here. And I think for me, when I came from the US to Haiti, I have like a very boxed way of thinking. And I think being from the US gives you that, but also the additional layer of being a lawyer complicates that. So I have a very boxed, linear way of thinking. And Haiti is, one of the things I appreciate about Haiti is that it's forced me to become less of a linear thinker. And I always joke I'll never have Alzheimer's because I spend so much time trying to creatively think of problems that it's so like anti to the way I am naturally. January or February to start getting more employees in. And so where we're projecting now. So in 5 years, I want to see us, our goal is to be synonymous with Haitian gastronomy. Like I want to celebrate Haiti through Haiti's food internationally. And so that's where we're going, and all of everything we do is about bottling the taste of Haiti, bringing it to the consumer, and seeing a way that we can positively impact the image, but also obviously make money. For ourselves and for our investors. And in that vein, I was telling Chris this morning that we are in the middle of an audit that we elected to be part of because we are now starting to look. We have two investors that are our pretty assured lead investors, and we're going to try to do like a real public offering the way that you would do it in the States. We're going to be more transparent about our finances, more transparent with, and I really hope that we have all sorts of people investing in our business. And we want it to be housed and based in Haiti. And we're trying to figure out financially and legally how to do that. And it's been an interesting ride. And it's shown me a lot of what are the gapes and the holes in the way that we structure ourselves in Haiti. And so hopefully over the next couple of months, we'll be able to settle that down. We're working with a really great lawyer in Haiti. And she's also creative and matches what we're trying to do, so she's also trying to help us figure out how to do that best and how to really be a company that is a Haiti-based LLC type company with multiple kinds of investors and with transparent financing where you're not hiding parts of things and like trying to get around things. And
So that's fantastic, because at the end of the day, a company can only expand once, you know, investment dollars come in. And once it's a proven business, once you've proven the business concept, there has to be a capital market available to be able to bridge the gap between growing to that next level and meeting the newer demand, right? And particularly what your ambitions are. Your ambitions being, you know, being a international powerhouse for Haitian food products and gastronomy. I really wish your IPO success, and of course, folks interested, we're going to have some links below in terms of not only where to buy the product, but also where to get information about at least when it's available. You know, being a potential investor, right?
So we have 4 product lines. We started off. This was in our restaurant. So I don't know what kind of who's watching this. So in Haiti, there's this magical food called pickles, and it's basically a spicy slaw. So I think cold slaw, but without the mayonnaise and spicy. And so we in our restaurant wanted to celebrate Haitian gastronomy and food. We wanted to have it a little bit different, so we made it with mangoes. And so this is the one that clients would ask us to bottle, and we were just so hesitant to do it. And this is our first real major product. This is our mango pickles, and that was our first product line. We started off as a cocktail bar, and we had 20 artisanal cocktails that we bottled, and they were all named after areas of Puerto Rico, which is where we were from, or where we are from. And so these 2 were our first sort of products. And then we ended up with these cooking sauces, which you use in all sorts of different ways, and you'll even look at the names. The names are really Haitian. Like this is sauce sunset, which is like our ancestors and what our ancestors used to make with tomatoes, pineapples, clé, which is moonshine, and ngapadu, which is raw cane sugar. And then we made one that was made from passion fruit and ginger. And then after a couple of years, do you want to do the iced teas and the hot sauces?
Oui. Poursuivi avec wrestling produit, c'est iced tea. Ok, son Eazibitz, tout le monde connaît. Eazibitz, et puis nous avons les carnaval. Non, c'est vraiment dit haïtien typique après danse.
That's our hangover here.
C'est toute une histoire, ok. Après ça, nous avons l'autre ligne, c'est sauce piquante. Il y a 3 sauces piquantes. Et une c'est Naptan non, après maintenant ça fait nous content, ça fait nous inquiéter tout. C'est boire, guéder, nibo. Ok, nous avons chaque sauce ça, c'est boire, guéder, nibo. Ça fait à base de coco et là-dedans, ça c'est base de mango et puis gingembre. Ça lui-même il y a citronnelle là-dedans. Ok, il y a orange là-dedans. Vraiment, ça c'est des bagages typiques.
Being able to express that in our brand is super important, and you can see it at all levels of our product. Like you can see it with like our pickles is named Auntie Mama, like that's like hot mama in Creole. Then like the sauce sunset, and this is called natut sauce, which means it like goes everything. Like a really nosy person is called natut sauce.
Natut sauce, yes.
And then our teas, it's like the ailment that it's curing, like the après danse, that's your hangover cure. The Eazibitz, that's your mystery. So like there's this expression.
What do you have for a cold?
For a cold, we have, I would do après danse for a cold.
Okay.
And then we also have one that's called Cali West that's not in production right now because our products are very seasonal for our teas, which we're working on. It's trying to get a way to be able to produce them year round. Yeah, and so that's it. And so today we're producing our mango pickles. It's one of the things we've never shot on camera before, but it's our first product that really launched this entire endeavor. And so we thought it'd be really cool that you see that. So our staff start at 7. I think it's like 11 now. So they've already done 2 runs of them. And so we're going to try to catch them on a 3rd run.
Right. And remember, all these things, the website is?
www.myabel.ht.
Boom.
So like
.ht, and you'll be able to...
Everything that's not alcohol.
Okay.
So we can't ship alcohol to you unless you have a liquor license.
Okay.
And we're always looking for somebody who has a liquor license that wants to buy large quantities of alcohol from us.
In the States, right?
In the States, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But everything else we can get you shipped. So, and these regular sweet teas with non-alcoholic. All right. So I think what we're going to do next is we're going to show you guys a little bit around the factory, right? And then we're going to cut to the
farm, and then the restaurant.
And then the restaurant. All right, so we have to. This is a real deal operation, guys. Ain't no fly by night sort of deal here. We gotta dress up here, right? We gotta get our stuff fully covered, right?
Your problem is really.
So she doesn't have any man employees, so she doesn't have something over here. But I promise, I'm gonna be far, far away from any of the products.
I don't have any male employees in this side of the park.
Oh, this side.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna head over. We do a first wash, which is like just get the dirt off all of the products, like all of the ingredients. So they're coming from a farm, and like I know in the U.S. things are like pristine and beautifully stacked, but our carrots come here covered in dirt, and so we rinse them off of the first wash, and then we put them in a Clorox soak for 20 to 30 minutes, depending on what product it is, and then we do a final wash with treated water. And so I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Maybe we'll walk on top. Up at the top, you'll see our treated water gallons here, and they get treated again before they go into the space. And so we are split up into 3 different spaces inside. This is our very first space. And so one of the things that I guess I also had to learn is how to just start and be humble with our business. And this is a house that we rented out and we converted into our production space. So I think when people think about our production space, they think of like this big sterile environment. What it is a sterile environment, but it's not like a factory. Like, so we call it a workshop or atelier in Creole. And so we call it small but mighty, PBT and so we have these 3 different spaces. This is where you would come in and you would do all the chopping and the cutting and the sorting. Started in this space, and it really is, it's just a kitchen that we converted. Obviously electricity, we outfitted it with better electricity, stronger electricity. And then in here, this is like where we chop and prep. And actually, if you want to pan on this is our mission. So this is why we exist. You can see it in what I was hopefully conveying to you when we were speaking about what we're all about. And then this is where we finish prepping, and then all of the cooking and preparing and pasteurizing goes on in there. Saturday is usually a more skeleton kind of staff. And so we're kind of doing like a little retake for you. And so they're gonna show you how we're cutting off the mangoes. So these are one of the 5 ingredients that we have. The other ingredients are over here, they're already prepared. So we're doing about a quarter of what we would normally do, just so you can get on camera. So we have our onions, our peppers, and our mangoes. And then they're gonna do a mix of them all together, and we're gonna do our process. So our process to get our piece to be oozing.
I gotta say, I love mangoes too much for a bunch to be sitting in front of me, and if I would those, yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
We would not have normally allowed this, but Chris is a special guest to come in here and eat mangoes in while we're producing.
Yeah, these are real mangoes. These are real mangoes. These are real deal. And again, these are sourced in Haiti, right?
Yeah, everything, all of our products for the most part are sourced in Haiti. We source our bottles outside of Haiti, obviously. Believe it or not, sugar is not something we produce. I think we don't produce it, the kind of sugar that we would need to use. And so that's one thing that I had to learn the hard way. That we don't have sugar.
We have the canes, but we just don't have it post-produced like that.
Yeah, we stopped producing sugar many years ago. And if you do produce sugar, we produce the raw cane sugar. And we do use raw cane sugar in some of our sauces, but not in things that need to like look without having like chunky bits of. The things that's really awesome about this process is that it kind of really eliminates a lot of the possibility of having more illness. Because we do the first step, which is getting the ingredients to be clean, and this step of the pasteurizing and the soaking, it's kind of just like, it's almost like
it totally euthanizes any.
So this is our production manager, and the other thing we had talked about earlier was human resources being an issue, and each level of middle management takes a really long time to get, and then to train and to get
So your production manager, she was with you for a while, I think, a couple years ago?
No, she's been with us. She just her probation period ended last week.
Okay, so
3 months.
So what was her background? What was she working before?
Before she was working at different bakeries, and she's a finance background. So definitely nothing related to what we're doing. But being able to train people and get them to acclimated and.
Generally, is it when you find your employees? Is it word of mouth?
Sort of word of mouth. Word of mouth is part of it, and then I think that's from all over the place. water soak that we're gonna do here. And then we're gonna start bottling. So our process is super artisanal. It's really low tech, but I think it does add a level of flavor to the food.
Cloth does what? Rather than just pouring it straight, what does the cloth do?
There's salt in it, so it's a straight in.
There's salt in the water?
Yeah. If there's like any impurities.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because we use Haitian salt, and so it's like that big grain salt.
But in the water?
Yeah, you put salt in the water.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And this is gonna sit, and that's gonna be the first step of the process.
Leave it there just like that, or?
Yeah, just leave it here just like that. It's covered mix, and you'll see them here. They filled up the bottle. For whatever reason, somebody had to come in and ask us what was up with batch 008 in 2018. We could go and we could look up exactly what it was, what measurements you used, what you put in it, and we could trace it back to whether it was a salt. So everything that comes in gets categorized. So if you order salt from a salt merchant, they'll come in. If it comes in like 3 sacks, we'll name those 3 sacks, and we'll code it, put it into the computer, and we'll know exactly where that sack came from, what happened with that batch, who made it, where if there's any issue, we can trace it and know exactly where we sent it and be able to recall it. And so we've never had to do a full recall, but we have had to trace a difference of taste in something, and so that was a really great lesson for my staff to understand the importance. And I was like, this is just a taste issue, but imagine if it was like a food illness issue, how important it is that we
I goes without saying, this area has been custom
Yeah, it's custom built, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see that a lot in Haiti, by the way, where homes become offices and homes become manufacturing. You know, folks build for homes and then things happen. They have to leave the country. They have to move to a different part of the country. And ultimately, you know, is fortunate enough to where an entrepreneur comes in the area. This is a great opportunity. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind homes to at least start off, whatever it is.
We're done in this is our production space, and then we're gonna head over here. And so when they're all done producing, they would put things in the bottle. They'd be pasteurized. They'd sit for 24 hours, and then they would end up in this room over here. And this room over here is where we do our labels. And so this is a bedroom at some point, I'm assuming. And so if you come over here, you can see when they're done, they'll put them in the bottles, and then they would come through this window the next morning when they are all ready to be labeled. And so you'll see over here, these are our labels. These are also a shameless plug. These are our Christmas gifts that are available online as well. They have 3 cooking sauces, and they have a spoon, a Haiti-made spoon that has Haitian horn. What would that be, like a cow's horn? So the viewers at home can't smell it, but it smells like fermentation. It smells pretty delicious. And this is also a lot of places
you can do it.